MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 22 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover episode 22 of City Hunter, titled Ryo Plays Cupid, Here's to Diamonds.
You know, we still haven't counted exploding Mini Coopers.
Why you gotta call us out like that on air, Kaylin?
I'm sorry. Now, to be fair, I say that only because we've got time, because there's no exploding Mini Coopers this episode.
No.
But there are other cool cars. Well, one of them is a cool car.
No, there's one regular car, because they're all real cars in this show.
Yeah.
And one famous car.
Yeah, famous vehicles. Also, sunrise being sunrise this episode. I'm so excited.
Yeah, something we weren't expecting to find, but we'll get to that.
I'm so excited. This was a fun episode. I just want to put that out there already. This
is a nice, easy episode to get into.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do just that. So we start out this week on a boat.
Oh, those are my favorite. There's a guy on a boat. He's asleep, and he's wearing a shirt that says Seaboat.
So just in case you were aware, this is his boat, and he likes sea boats.
It's on the sea. He's on his boat on the sea. It's a sea boat.
Nice boat.
Nice sea boat.
And so we see that a woman in short hair has scubaed her way up to the boat, made her way behind a photo that he has on the wall, and has broken into a safe to retrieve a diamond necklace. Or rather, a very golden necklace with a pretty large diamond in it.
We learn later it's worth like millions of dollars, but you can pretty much assume it just by looking at it. Like, it's extravagant. Real extravagant.
Now, aside from the initial crime happening there at the top of the episode, the next scene we're treated to is the underwear new fashion show.
Which, you know, I disagree with the order of those words.
Like, those are the way the words are written out in katakana there on the sign. Underwear new fashion. It's
just word ordering. But they're all words. They all make sense. That's fine. Let's just rearrange the words there a little bit. I must make one critique, because we're watching these on the Blu-rays, and normally when you're doing subtitles, you also want to subtitle the on-screen text. And this was not subtitled for some reason, the name of this fashion show. I mean, thankfully it was just in katakana, and the katakana was just English words. So that was pretty easy for us to glean that information off of. But just one last check on those Blu-rays, guys, and you'd be golden.
So we see that Kaori and Ryo are here at this fashion show for seemingly no reason. I went back over the notes and tried to figure out, okay, well, why are they actually there? And Ryo gives an excuse of, Kaori, you're my partner, maybe I want to buy you some underwear. And it's
it's bullshit.
No, he's there to oogle the models.
Well, it kind of sounded like Kaori just wanted to be there. Like, maybe she was interested in it for herself, and then Ryo was like, this sounds like a fun thing to go do, that I will just show up for also.
And the thing of it is, like, you know, as we've established on the show before, and it's there in the episodes, Kaori likes to buy herself the good underwear. Mm-hmm. And so she must not feel too threatened if she's still continuing to buy it and even go to a fashion show for it while having to live with somebody like Ryo.
Right. And Ryo takes off after getting a hammer in the face. He's just having a fun time. I even think he thinks that dicking with Kaori is kind of funny.
Oh, absolutely. Like, this is his way of dealing with things. We can't really tell if he's developed any feelings as of yet, but for sure, one of the ways he's made it easier to deal with this horrible weight of having to take care of Makimura's sister is, well, I have to make it a little fun, otherwise I'm going to be sad all the time. I'm a dick with her a little bit.
That's what it looks like. Like, when he makes up, oh, maybe I just wanted to buy you some underwear. Like, that's a really stupid thing to say, and I think he knows it. And then he runs away all, like, laughing and smiling. Like, I think he thinks this is a fun joke.
Like, it's a fun joke to him, but, like, be real for a second. Ryo knows what she wears.
Yeah.
He's gone through her panty drawer multiple times. He knows the sizes. He knows the shapes. He knows. So if he wanted to, he could do it.
He's seen it on her body, too.
Yeah, he has. That's how they met.
Yeah.
That first, all the way back in episode 4.
Yeah.
So Ryo decides looking isn't enough. He needs to get a little more hands-on, so he sneaks back into the dressing room, and we happen to find the woman who was the one who was stealing the necklace at the very beginning, a woman by the name of Arisa Hoshino. And she's trying to get into her bra set that she's needing to get into since she's one of the models, doesn't realize Ryo's the one hooking it, and then screams him out of the room, as well she should.
She throws literally everything but the kitchen sink at him. Like, it includes a whole ass glass locker.
Yeah.
Like, he throws him out first, and then there's like a mattress and a locker and, I don't know, a safe or like a freezer.
A lot of very large items.
Yeah, this is a strong woman.
Or she's got some strong lungs on her.
What, you think she shouted everything out?
Yeah, like she
into the
canary
room?
cried everything out of the room at him.
Okay, so you don't think she physically picked these items up and then threw them at him once he was outside?
No, I think she might have a metahuman gene, and she like canary cried all that stuff at him.
Okay, got it.
Now, once he's been thrown out of the room, she happens to be called onto stage, so she's heading out in that general direction, and we see two guys waiting there to seemingly kidnap her. And they've got their mitts on her, like, you're coming with us. And then a hanger goes flying across the screen.
Yeah, this is a clothing hanger because this is a fashion show.
And hits one of the guys in the face. Now, we have to stop here, because I didn't catch it the first time we saw it, like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, what have you. Mm-hmm. I didn't catch it this time. You caught it.
Yeah, so I was like, there's some writing on the hanger, and I can't read what it is.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, the artists, the animators wrote a word on this hanger. Hold on, I need to hit rewind real fast. Enhance.
And it's like 2 frames.
At best, this hanger is anime whizzing onto the screen for 1 total second, okay? And we pause it right at the exact moment where the coat hanger is it's in full frame.
It's diagonal in motion. There's anime speed lines.
And the focus, as it's coming into the camera, one end of the hanger is looking larger than the other end to show proportion and motion or whatever. And on the side of the hanger that is closest to the camera says the word sunrise. Sunrise? Like, really? You guys keep doing this. You keep putting your name on things. I was staring at this for like 2 full minutes because I couldn't believe they went to this insane detail just to like write themselves in here onto like 3 frames that nobody, like in 1987, no one is ever going to see this.
Like, nobody's gonna catch that. They didn't know people were gonna be able to freeze frame that crap. They knew they were drawing it.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things like, hey man, we don't have an airport in this episode. We gotta get our name in there. Use a hanger.
Like, we've already put our copyrights at the beginning of the episode in the opening. That's not enough. We need to put our names someplace else just in case they forgot. They're not even gonna be able to see it. Oh, but we'll know. And that's what matters. I just couldn't believe. Like, you can attest to how long I'm just sitting there going...
No, you were there for a solid 3 minutes, just staring at this screenshot of this speedline hanger perfectly captured the sunrise name on this hanger. It's amazing.
What an
that they would do that.
What a self, like, yeah, we did it. We got our names in here. Like, yes, you got your names in here. Your name's already on the show.
It's your show. You don't need to do this, man. It's like, why are we doing this, producer of City Hunter? It's like, oh, wait a minute. In the future, they're going to have things like Blu-rays and podcasts, and somebody's going to go over this in America, and they're going to find it, and we will feel satisfied. That's why they're going to do it.
Uh-huh, sure.
So needless to say, Ryo gets in there and defends Orisa from these 2 would-be abductors. He hits them with the chops, gets them with a punch, knocks them out, runs them off. Well, no, he doesn't run them off. What he does is he strips them down and then forces them to go on stage in just their boxers.
Well, he's also got them all tied and bound, and it almost looks more like an S&M joke.
Yeah. And Orisa seems very impressed with this. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. How'd you do that? And he's like, hey, why are these guys after you? Oh, let's not talk about that. You need a girlfriend? Like, she's being very dodgy the whole episode. Like, this is a running thing.
It's incredibly obvious, and I think Ryo knows that, but he's playing along like, yes, I will be your boyfriend. As they drive off. You know what's funny is they don't take his car. They don't take
they took her car.
They get into her car, which, by the way, is a Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah,
It is very specifically a Volkswagen Golf, which I've ridden in a total of 1 Volkswagen Golf. It is very small and very uncomfortable.
Newer Golfs, I imagine, are better for that sort of thing.
Do they still make the Golf?
Oh, yeah, they make the Golf.
Okay, because I certainly don't see them around here.
I've seen some.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
You're just not looking for them.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm looking for more Mini Coopers because I like City Hunter.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, even here in the Golf, in her Golf, which, mind you, if he's taking off with her in the Golf, did he tell Coyote he was doing this? Like, hey, I picked up a girl, I'm out of here. Which means probably they took the Fiat to the this fashion show, and Cowdy drove off angry.
She must have. It's funny how that doesn't come up later. Like, when the next time she sees him, she's not like, you just left, and you didn't say where you were going, so I was just gonna assume I was just gonna leave you there. Fine, you didn't come back, I just went home by myself.
Yeah, that sounds about reasonable for Cowdy. Like, she would ditch him.
Yeah, I'm just saying that conversation doesn't happen when next she sees him.
But logically, you imagine there should have been a conversation there about being ditched at the fashion show.
I mean, probably.
But yes, even here in the Gulf, Rio's still trying to figure out why are these dudes after you, and she's still avoiding the question. Arissa's still trying to butter him up, act like she's really into him, even going so far as to almost crash the car, which is really stupid on both your parts. Like, hold the wheel.
Like, she takes her hands off the wheel to hug on him. She's the driver, and then they end up sideswiping the concrete barricade in the middle of the freeway.
Now, as they're doing this, they happen to be tailed by this gangster in, like, powder blue, who's driving an Aston Martin DB5. We know this because we see the back of the car. This is very clearly James Bond's car.
Right. This guy is dressed... it's very clear that he's meant to be a British dude as well. The way he's dressed, he's got blue eyes, so he's clearly at least a Westerner.
Yeah, foreigner.
Yeah.
And there'll be more evidence to that later on in the episode. But you can tell it's supposed to be James Bond's car because he's got the little spike hubcaps that come out and take out the driver's side wheels on the VW and make it crash. Now, I don't know yet in the episode as I'm watching it why somebody would go so far as to hire somebody to go after Arissa. We don't know that yet. But do you need James Bond's car to do it?
Sunrise just thought they were being really fucking cool. That, I guarantee you that's all it was. Like, would this be cool? Yes, do it. We want to draw James Bond's car. That's the only answer. It's like, we want to do it. Okay.
And then they just do it.
See, and this is why, like, I feel like maybe this was one of the best times in Sunrise's existence, where it seems like they could kind of just dick around and just have fun, and then say and write and draw whatever they wanted.
And they very much are here. So the blue gangster over here is like, come with me, or I guess he would have an accent and be like, hey, come with me, governor, you're coming with me. Or I don't know how they refer to women in Britain. I can't think right now on the podcast. But basically, he's telling her, come with me.
I don't know, call her a bird or something.
Hi there, birdie, come with me. All right, chip chop, cheerio.
Chip chop, cheerio.
Look, I haven't done a British accent in a while.
Somebody in the UK is going to eventually listen to this and say, wow, Josh, what a hate crime.
That's the hate crime? Out of all the things that we end up seeing later on in this show, like a certain opening?
Oh, if you don't know what Josh is talking about,
we'll get there.
There's a bad thing in a later... You know what? Forget it.
Yeah, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. So he's saying, come over with me. You're coming with me. I'm here to take you away from this guy. And this guy, being Rio, is like, nah, I'm her boyfriend. You back off. And dude's trying to step to Rio like, hey, I got a gun right here in my breast pocket. What you gonna do about it?
And Rio's just no chill, like, walks straight up to him. Oh, like, that's cute. What a nice toy. It's a toy if you don't know how to use it. Wha-cha! Chops the gun right out of his hand. Was it a Luger?
It's another Luger. Like, there's a lot of German guns in this show that the bad guys usually have. It's just so weird that they love German firearm engineering that much. Week to week.
I think there's unfortunately a lot of German military and weapon fascination in anime in general.
That would seem to there might be some truth to that. Yeah.
I'm just saying there might also be some historical reasons for that. But I don't know. That's just an idea.
Well, anyway, Rio steps to the guy, knocks the Luger out of his hand. He's like, all right, get out of here. He's like, I'll see you again, governor. And he's just laughing the whole way out. Like,
I won't call this a tie. This was a tie?
This wasn't a tie, man. Got humiliated. Leave. And he runs back to his boss, who happens to be the guy from the beginning of the episode.
You know, Seaboat guy.
Seaboat. And Seaboat is like, all right, well, we need to get the diamond back. It's important. And you need to get her back, too.
Yes, governor. And he walks up. That's the sound of walking, by the way.
Is that how they walk in Britain? Because out of the two of us, you're the only one who's been to London.
It was for a whole week. So, yes, I'm very fluent in Londonese, and the sound effect for walking is walk.
All right, I'm going to have to remember that. So after some more flattery and flirting back and forth between Ryo and Arisa, dude tries again to spy on them when they're in the park, and he's there in the bushes, ready to get the drop on him. He's like, all right, I got him this time. And Ryo's like, who do you got this time? And he's right behind. He's just right behind him again.
By the way, nice hat. Pachoo! Just shoots the hat right off of his head.
Like, Ryo's got this guy cold. Like
this guy's just an idiot. He's just a moron.
I'm beginning to wonder, what if he's not British? What if he just is playing British and he's really just like a Brit otaku? Like, he's an otaku for London. He's a London a Britophile. Anglophile? Anglophile. It's Anglophile.
Well, that if you really like white people?
No, I'm pretty sure it's for Britain. Somebody's going to correct me on this.
We're just making words up at this point, I think. Also, definitely ill-defining them, for sure.
Yes.
So, what, you think he's a Japanese person? Is he wearing blue contact lenses?
He could be. We don't know.
Okay. So he really was like, I have seen all of the James Bond movies up until this point in time, and I really wanted his car, and I really wanted a cool gun, and I really think that because I have seen every James Bond movie up until 1987, that I can do this, and I can be a spy, and I can get somebody back, and the jewelry.
Like, was this his way of applying for the job to guy in the glasses, who we're gonna learn his name here in a minute, but this guy puts out an ad for like, hey, I need somebody to go after a diamond and a girl, and this guy applies and he shows up in person to the interview and he's like, all right, I need your qualifications. I've seen every James Bond movie.
Also, I've got the car. Oh, well.
You brought your own car. Well, right this way, sir. This is the dossier you need to do this mission. Yes. I mean, all right.
I'm not sure whether or not you're slipping into another region's accent. Somewhere between Australian and New Zealand.
No, it's Cockneys.
I know you think it's Cockney, but it's not anything, I don't think.
By the way, for those listening, I'm non-union.
Damn, okay.
So after the halfway point of the episode, we get back to, I assume it's her apartment at the Grand Sun, which again is one of those places I think we go to multiple times throughout the series.
Right. It's either another hotel or it's a series of really high-class apartments.
Like luxury condos or something like that.
Yeah.
Because she's got a lot of space in there.
Mm-hmm.
So Arisa invites Ryo in for a drink, or seemingly a nightcap of sorts, and Ryo says, oh, I'm a little, taken aback by the fact that she's being so forward right now, because not only does she offer him a drink, she says, okay, you wait here, I'm gonna go bathe, waits a beat, and then sticks her head back out like, hey, you want to join me? And immediately that takes Ryo out of his game.
And he turns her down. He doesn't go into the shower with her, even though she's like giving him an opportunity and permission,
There does seem to be consent here.
And he decides, you know what? Not a good idea. Let's not do that.
Now, Semi being on the side of Ryo, just having a normal adult life and being in consensual relationships or situations, it's interesting to me that it would appear that he clearly knows that there's something else going on here, and he needs to keep his wits about him so he doesn't consume any alcohol, and he doesn't engage in fun Mokkori times, even though he knows he wants to, but he knows there's something else going on, and he can't let himself do it.
Yeah, so you can see clearly from this portion of this episode, when it all comes down to it, Ryo can make good, smart decisions, especially when it comes to something might be wrong. Something might actually be dangerous. I don't really want to screw something up if this person is genuinely in danger and I don't know why that is.
So once Arisa comes out of the bath, again in only a towel, that'll happen a lot with a lot of these cases where our female client comes out in just a towel. Mm-hmm. Ryo's like, all right, cut the BS. What's going on here? What are you doing? And she gives us the plot dump.
So she admits, yes, there's a guy who I met, and we dated for a while, we really hit it off, but as it turns out, his dad set him up in an arranged marriage, and it sure seemed to me like he chose the person that his dad set him up with. And he bought this expensive piece of jewelry, this diamond, and it's the diamond that I stole, and I was real upset about it, so I stole it from him, and now he's after me, and he wants his diamond back.
Yes, and this guy is a guy by the name of Shinichi Yotsui of the Yotsui Group. So this guy, we're told, is loaded. You didn't already know by the beginning with the Seaboat shirt. That shirt alone says he has money.
It says, I have a seaboat. Like, if you can afford a seaboat, then yeah, you probably have a lot of money.
Wait, you think the shirt came for free with the boat?
Oh, he bought the boat, and they're like, and you get this free t-shirt.
No, it's the other way around. He bought the shirt
for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, for like a cool $1,000,000 yen. and then the boat came with the shirt.
Maybe. That's an expensive shirt.
Well, he's got that kind of money. And so Arissa's telling all of this to Rio and saying, well, I was gonna give it back. And I love Rio for this right here. He says, no, you're not gonna give it back. Because if you're hung up on this guy, if you gave it back, you wouldn't have any link to him anymore.
I'll let you think about it. Bye. And then he, actually leaves.
That's a mic drop right there for him.
Well, on top of that, it also insinuated, even though she's saying a bunch of words that insinuate, oh, I'm over the guy, I'm into you now, Rio. He knows better, and he knows I'm not gonna mess with her anymore.
Yeah,
and he walks
he knows
away.
She's playing games and he doesn't want to play games.
Right.
If he has any sort of genuine affection for somebody, like a client every so often throughout the show, which does happen from time to time where it looks like, oh, he might really be into the client this week, it doesn't compare to the episodes when it's something like Cowdy or maybe a little bit of Sayako where there's some history there. To me, that says Rio wants a deeper connection. He's not into something really superficial at the end of the day. If he thought he just wanted to get in some quick Mokkori times, he could totally do that. But he's not, which means there's more to his character.
Right, I agree with that.
So the next morning at Chateau Rio's apartment, Arissa bursts in while Cowdy is, I guess, making breakfast, and she's like, hey, where's Rio? And Cowdy's like, he's in his room? And she busts in there while Rio's having a dream about her, about Arissa, and is kissing in his sleep, Arissa, and grabs her as she happens to be there, which is enough prompting for Cowdy to get him with the hammer.
Yeah.
And it's like, Cowdy, you told her where to go. You know who Rio is. What did you think was gonna happen? Not that I'm excusing Rio, but if he was asleep, I don't understand.
We did just sort of let the woman into the room.
First off, the door wasn't locked, all right? The front door was open to Rio's apartment. She just busts in there, got directions to Rio's room, and then proceeded to be in that situation. Not me blaming her, just saying, Cowdy, what did you expect? But it turns out Arissa is there to go ahead and formally offer Rio the position of bodyguard for her to go ahead and deal with this whole diamond situation. And Cowdy is there kind of being like, hey, so what's going on with this girl? And Rio's like, oh, come here, I'll tell you. It's like this. And it's like this.
Cowdy's like, he didn't actually tell me anything. She looks deadpan into the camera. He told me absolutely nothing.
Literally all Rio said was,
and so it was like this, and then it was like this. He literally said nothing to me.
That's a great comedy moment right there of, oh, you didn't actually say anything. Great. Okay, I so appreciate you right now, Rio. And then with a lot of enthusiasm, Arissa leaves okay, so we got this all sorted out. Great, thanks, bye. And Cowdy asks, hey, she's kind of weird. She all right? I don't know. Is she, into you? Kinda? And she gets pissed at that. At him answering honestly, maybe she's into me, and pulls the hammer again. But this time, Rio blocks it with his foot.
It might be one of the only times he actually manages to do it, because this is gonna come up later where somebody asks, hey, why do you let Cowry hit you with the hammer when everybody knows that you could easily get away from the hammer? This is gonna come up way later on down the line.
After this has happened enough times.
So realize this is, as much as this just looks like a cartoon right now, a really funny cartoony moment, realize he says, no, stop, don't hit me with this hammer. He blocks it with his foot. Don't hit me with this hammer right now. We don't have time for this. We have to go after her. So he's really, really, really serious. I need you guys, I cannot impress enough upon you guys. I need you to understand the hammer, while being cartoony, is also allegory for Rio just letting Cowry do whatever she wants to him, because it's funny, but also maybe it's a way of him keeping himself in check or keeping her in his life in some way, shape, or form. So when you see him block this hammer with his foot, a thing that he otherwise never does, you know that he could do it at any time.
Right.
And most of the time, he chooses not to.
Because this is the one time, for those of you familiar with wrestling terminology, this is the one time that you'll see Rio basically break kayfabe.
Yeah.
Because the kayfabe of the show is that if the hammer comes out, I get hit with it.
Yeah.
But this is the one time he's like, no, I got it. I'm not even going to hit it. I'm not going to no-sell. I'm just not going to let it hit me. There's something else going on. Look downstairs.
Yeah.
And we see the Aston Martin DB5 pulling up again. Blue gangster gangster, like, Wile E. Coyote grabs Arisa into the car.
It's super cartoony. Grabs her around the waist, yoink! Into the car. Car takes off. Ryo and Kaori are already in the Mini Cooper. This is like 2 seconds. All of these things happen
quickly
well after.
to the MokkoriMobile. And they are booking it down the highway.
They go past this semi-truck, and the semi-truck is weaving like, oh, these guys drove past me so fast, and just choom, blowing past this guy down the freeway.
And so they catch up with the Aston Martin, and Ryo's like, hey, wait, something's not right here. They want us to catch them. They're not, like, really trying to speed away. They're leading us somewhere. And Kaori's like, why are they doing that? And Ryo's like, oh, I get it. It's because we have the diamond. They want the diamond back. They got to bring us with them. Which is stupid, because there was a better way of doing that. The blue gangster could have busted into the apartment and been like, hey, everybody's coming with me, instead of making Ryo and Kaori chase them in their own car.
Well, we already have established that guy's a moron, so he did the stupid thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
So this chase slows down to basically just a nice drive, and they go all the way up into the mountains to Yotsui's villa, which is like every other villa that we ever see in the show.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same villa every time we go to a villa. They just paint it a little different. And everybody's waiting outside. You know, they've got Arisa at gunpoint. And Ryo's just kind of perturbed. He's just kind of ticked off that they've taken these extra steps. Like, sheesh, what's going on here? Hurry up.
This was a lot of work. God.
That makes me realize, because you say work, Ryo only just now was hired. Did they get paid this week?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think they're getting paid after this.
Well, we need to get to the end of the episode, because at the end of the episode, yes, it seems like things resolve, and like he walks away without collecting payment. I don't know, maybe he sends them an invoice. But, again, that's for the end of the episode.
So, once they're there in this kind of hostage standoff, Yotsui, the guy in the glasses, you know, Mr. Houseboat, I'm sorry, Seaboat. Mr. Seaboat is like, hey, what have you done to her? You got the diamond. And Ryo's like, oh, come on, hurry it up. This is weird. Stop it. I hate all of you. He tells Blue Gangster Dude, hey, shut him up. And Ryo just unloads on the guy.
Puts a second bullet hole in the guy's hat, which, mind you, he's still wearing the same hat.
He's only got the one hat
that Ryo shot, and it's got the first bullet hole in it. Ryo puts a second bullet hole in it, then shoots the gun away from him, then shoots the belt buckle off of his pants. His pants drop. We see the Union Jack underwear. That either proves that this guy is British or proves that he loves the UK a lot.
But this dude clearly was inept. This guy, Blue Gangster over here, should not get paid.
Did he have a name?
No, that's why I've been calling him Blue Gangster this whole time. They never named him.
Old Blue Eyes.
Well, no, I don't want to hear anything from the Sinatra people. Let's just go with Blue Gangster.
Okay. I'm just saying he's the only blue-eyed dude in the whole episode.
This is true. So Yotsui and Ryo kind of have a scream off with each other like, how come you deceived Arisa? What did you do? And Ryo's screaming back, well, what are you talking about? Weren't you gonna marry another woman and not be with the woman you love, Arisa?
And he's like, no.
Like, that's his response, like, no, I wasn't gonna marry the other woman. I was gonna marry Arisa. And Ryo's like, what?
Yeah, I didn't buy it for the other woman. I'm sorry that I took 2 seconds to think about it. That's my bad. But no, the diamond was for Arisa. It wasn't for the other woman. I was gonna decide to say, hey, Dad, F you. I'm gonna go marry Arisa. And everybody's like, oh. Well, maybe you should have communicated that better, man.
Well, no, see, because he's saying, well, I was gonna give it to her, and I was trying to find the right time to do it, but then she found out I got it, and then she just kind of jumped to a conclusion, and then she stole it from me. I've been trying to get it and her back, and that's where we're at right now.
So I decided the way to go about clarifying this information was to try and have her kidnapped and to steal the jewelry back. That sounds like the best way to clarify this misconception. Okay, sir.
Okay, right. That's great communication. I very much look forward to your marriage.
Hope it works out for you, man.
Like between us two, like, we're married.
Yes.
Right.
Right?
Right?
Oh, we have to check?
Yeah, we got to double check. Is it in? It's in the notes. We're married.
Okay, it's been almost 8 years now.
Okay, if I had to kidnap you every time I tried to give you something to talk to you, one, that would get expensive because I have to hire the help. And then on top of that would just take too long. Like, the level of inefficiency here in levels of communication.
Like, we have phones?
We have text. I mean, they didn't have text back then, but you could leave a message on the bulletin board in Shinjuku. That'd be cheaper.
That's free.
That's free.
At best, you have to pay for the chalk.
Like, Mr. Yotsui, you don't need to buy a diamond for you two. You need to buy couples counseling. Learn communication. Use your words.
Call her. Does she have a beeper? Like...
A pager? But point being, Ryo's like, okay, this is all way too much. Let me simplify this down. I've got a gun, all right?
I don't have a pager, but I do have a gun. Oh no, there would be pagers. All of Yakuza 0 was like, hey, get back to me. Oh, this is the code on the pager that means get back to me right now.
Yes.
Okay.
But Ryo has decided to let his gun do the talking. He's like, hey, so while you were dragging your feet trying to talk to her in the most roundabout way, I talked to her. I'm her boyfriend now. But I'm willing to settle up with you. Check it out. There's 6 chambers in this revolver. I'm going to load up some bullets here, right? You get a 1 in 6 chance of getting her back.
And one of them will not hurt you, but the other bullets will. Are you willing to see whether or not you'll die for this woman? And he's like, screw it, I would die for her. And she's over here like, no, Ryo, don't do it. I would die for her. No, don't shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him. Shoot me. No, don't do it.
Click.
Yeah, the gun didn't actually fire a bullet. And Ryo cartoonishly is like, oh, would you look at that? Wow, what are the odds that it wouldn't fire the bullet?
Well, darn. I lost. Here's your necklace. I'm out. Like, just like that.
Yeah.
And they start walking off, and, you know, Yotsui and Arisa are so happy. Like, we can be together because this guy didn't successfully kill us.
It's kind of fucked up. But okay.
We end up saying that once a week at this point.
Yeah.
And Ryo and Kaori are walking off, and Kaori notices there were no live bullets in that gun.
You loaded them all with bullets that didn't have gunpowder in them. Ryo's walk, too. Like, his walking animation is very rigid. Like, this is me being a very normal guy, walking away in a very normal fashion. Whoops! This did not go how I completely planned it. Bye!
Like, he's trying to play it off what he's done right now.
Yeah.
He was trying to match the feeling, the emotion of the situation, and diffused it by going even bigger than them, and then making everybody feel better about it. Both Yotsui and Arisa realize what he's done, and they're like, oh, thank you, Ryo, you know, as he walks away. And you hear Get Wild start playing, and we freeze frame, and Ryo's got Kaori on his arm looking at him kind of lovingly?
Yeah, like, aw. Well, actually, in the end, you actually kind of set them up. That was kind of cute of you and kind of sweet. That's the way that looks to me. Yeah.
And, you know, the episode ends right there, and it's like, now I'm starting to wonder, like, now a little bit more each and every one of these episodes, we're starting to see the hints here of something going on there, I think. Because,
maybe. It's real small here, but
it's just the little bits here and there that are building up over time, and you need the little bits at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's little things like that of Ryo showing that he can break kayfabe and not get hit by the hammer. Things like Kaori appreciating when he's a decent guy.
Yeah, and also being able to clearly see when Ryo is able to make clear-headed decisions that are not affected by his boner.
Yes, he can actually channel out the Mokkori if he so chose to. Most episodes he doesn't, but he can.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's our episode for the week. This is a fun one.
This one was fun. A real good, fun, cartoony animation. God, the in-jokes that Sunrise does. They just love drawing what they think is fun.
Yes.
They think that James Bond cars are friggin' cool.
Well, they love throwing in references to other movies.
They've always, up until this point, we've seen lots of references to films outside of Japan.
And we're going to see more as the series goes on.
Yeah, lots of references to stuff. They love cars. I think they just love actual real cars, and they want to put in as many realistic cars as possible. I think they love putting that kind of detail in. And then they love making sure that the animation department is like, haha, we're going to make sure that we get our own signature in here on these 3 frames of animation.
God, that just blew my mind that they would go to that length.
Yeah.
I imagine that's the kind of thing that happens more often than not in animation, of getting those little, Easter eggs put in there. Because, again, at the time, there's no way they could have caught it.
I mean, people had VHS.
I remember those days. Do you know how hard it is to pinpoint something on VHS?
Well, yeah, because once you get a tape started playing, and then once you press pause, it's not an immediate thing. It's kind of it kind of jerks to a stop.
Sometimes you don't get a clear shot. You can get stutter there.
Yeah.
When you're trying to pause
some
something.
Some motion blur while that's going going on.
And still they put it in there.
Incredible. Even if it's the smallest, silliest, it doesn't even actually matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's just such a little thing that, like, why on a clothing hanger?
Because they can.
Just because. I know this sounds really stupid for me to go on and on about, but...
It's the kind of thing, like, when you're watching the show like you do in this format, where we're trying to get these notes ready for the podcast, and then you discover something like this that you didn't see on your first couple of viewings. It makes it fresh and new for you. It makes it that much more enjoyable.
And I just had a feeling, right? Because this isn't the first time Sunrise has done that. They just slapped their name on, like, there's a cardboard box back here, and they slap their name on it. Or the plane every episode or whatever. Or there was the truck that drove by that one time that said Sunrise.
Yes, yes.
They were carting rice around, but clearly the joke was that it's sunrise. And then this, where I saw the word on this hanger, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, I bet you $20 that says sunrise. I just know it.
I just need you to know I didn't agree to that $20, and you're not getting $20.
All right, that's fair.
So next week's episode, we see City Hunter meet the Wicker Man. Not really, but there will be bees.
Bees! Also, some concerns. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, so next week's episode, it's going to be a hard one to cover because of the subject matter as far as Ryo's characterization goes.
Concerns. All I can say is concerns. Oh man, I don't know how we're going to address this one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a time.
Okay, we will make that time next time. So, come back next time when we cover the 23rd episode of the TV series Buzz, 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 Go the Killer Bees, A Bride Fallen from the Sky.
And if you want to catch us both outside this podcast, you can always find us over on Twitter. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 22nd episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm gonna get Josh with the bees!
Not the bees!